Welcome back to another BackPageLead Vidcast. I'm Jonathan Howcroft and I'm joined by Wayne Carey. We're going to take back a look at all the action from round 15. Wayne, the news agenda this week has been dominated by Sherwood Wellingham's hit on Kate Simpson and the repercussions that's had in the match review panel. Firstly, how did you find the hit itself? And secondly, what do you think about the punishment?
Oh look, he got 5 weeks. Brought down for good behaviour down to 3 weeks, which is probably a good result considering other players that have got 3 weeks for a lot less than that. He left the ground, high contact, broken jaw, deserved every bit of 5 weeks, I would have thought. And the fact that he has got a clean record, well, I think it's all well and done. What it has done though is thrown up the fact that the match review panel and its inconsistencies once again. I think, when you look at this season and we look at from 1 to 5th, how close it is, percentage, and then from 6th down to about 12th, there's one, or 13th, there's one game separating. It might come down to the match review panel that actually cost someone a spot in the top 4 or the top 8 through suspension. There's just inconsistencies, and I think that's what we're all confused by, what players get for certain things. It's one of the things that has been disappointing, I think, throughout the year.
One of the players that's facing the tribunal on Tuesday night, we're filming this on Tuesday afternoon, is somebody who you like a lot, and that's Jeremy Cameron. I just find it astonishing that he was even cited, let alone how potentially could lose a chance of a rising star. Soft as butter.
Takes me back to when Corey McKernan lost the Rising Star Award way back, it might have been 93 or 94 or something like that, but he lost it through I think it was a falling on John Barnes with a knee. When you have a look at it, he tried to stop. I mean, Jeremy Cameron, he's a terrific young player. He's going to be a superstar. I agree with you. I think it was terribly soft. There's been players this year that have got off for a lot more. And then again, there's been players that have been given more weeks than what they should have, and then players not given any weeks for certain things. I mean, it's confusing, and I don't know what's going on in there, and I'm sure the rest of you out there don't know what's going on either.
Moving on from a giant who you're a big fan of to one who you've been less complimentary about in the past, there's strong rumours that Israel Folau may not see out his contract at GWS. Would you see that as a big loss to the game?
Surprise! I don't. Look. I have nothing against Izzy Folau or Carmichael Hunt as people. They're great people, and they've actually promoted our game in a great way and got it on the back pages of states that doesn't normally get on the back pages of. So big tick to the AFL and those two guys for that. But in terms of their football ability, I mean, is it a loss to the game? No. But is it a loss in terms of the promotion for those states? Yes. I think $1 million a year could be better spent on maybe the development of the code in those particular states rather than on one particular player that struggles to play our game.
Moving on from players that either are missing in the short term or perhaps for even longer, to a guy who's going to miss a couple of weeks through injury. Now, you said last week on this show that Lance Franklin was going to play against GWS, and it's turned out that he's aggravated the injury that he carried in with. Do you think you made the right decision?
Obviously not, Jonathan. No, but I did tell you that he would play, and he kicked his 4 goals. He's taken a bigger lead in the Coleman medal, but that may very well be his undoing. I mean, I think he's 11 goals or 12 goals or something in front. But now he's going to miss 3 weeks. So, look, he would have gone in thinking he was 100% fit, as would the medicos. They wouldn't have let him play. As it's turned out, he hasn't got through, and he'll now miss 3 weeks. So it was a mistake, yes.
Just come back to that. When you said last week that as a forward, when you're coming up against a team who you're going to kick a bag against, you do everything to play. Would you take a trade-off of 4 goals, as far as a common medal is concerned? Would you take a trade-off of 4 goals there and missing another? No. Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. And you wouldn't. And he would have gone into the game thinking he was going to get through it. I don't think players aren't that selfish. It's a team game. He would have thought he could get through the game. Simple facts are he didn't get through, so it hasn't paid off.
and disappointing for him and his club, especially with 3 important weeks coming up now for the Hawks rather than a game against Greater Western Sydney. But players just want to play, so sometimes you've got to take it out of their hands. Hawthorn obviously took him on his word and did all the tests that you could do. He passed those tests, therefore you play.
Final question for this particular show. You mentioned this morning on Triple M that you'd seen Ben Cousins recently. He was brought up in the news today in connection to whether he could return to the football community. Tom Harley suggested that he might not be that pleased if that was the case. Can you see Ben coming back into the game anytime soon? And if so, in what kind of capacity?
Oh look, I saw Ben for about 5 minutes on last Friday at a function I was at in Perth. He looked well. He looked in a good space. In terms of coming back to football, I mean that's up to the individual club to see whether Ben would fit into those parameters. I would say that he's probably got a little bit of work to do in terms of his personal development, and that'll take a little bit more time before I think maybe clubs will allow that. But I know Ben personally. He's a wonderful guy. He's been through a lot, and he's battling his demons. Let's hope he gets through the other end, and we do see him back in football because he's got a wonderful football brain and he's a good person.
Thank you very much, Wayne Carey. Look forward to speaking to you about round 17 soon.
Thanks, Jonathan.